Page 147, Shout to the Lord. 4/4 time, the key is C major. One hand at a time. Let's look at this. At the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're playing this legato. I like fingering everything legato if I can because I like to feel it. Third measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then you start the verse, 1. Now if nobody is singing this, you're doing this as a piano solo, try to, if you can, bring out the top note. That's the melody. It's on each of these. If somebody is singing it, you or anybody else, then don't worry about bringing out the melody because the singer will bring out the melody. In fact, you should play softly so you don't compete with the singer. You know, you have to be background if there's a singer involved. Last measure, second line here. Then lift up. There's no real good way to get from here to here. Pedal will help some. You got to move it. Just third line down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And if this rhythm is bothering you, take out the ties temporarily. Play all the notes. 1 and that makes a little more sense. And then when you can feel that, put the tie back in. Just hang on to that first note. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Their fingering is fine. At the bottom, if you don't want to put the black or thumb on the B flat, then instead of 3 to do 3/4, and then you can do that. And then again, the last measure, the D is a whole note. Hang on to it, regardless of which fingering you're using at that point. Page 148 is some more of what we had. Let's go down to the third line, last measure, where the chorus starts. 1, 1. This works, these weak fingers. I like this. We need to work on the weak fingers. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then you do that some more. Over on page 148 is some more of this. Very repetitious. You get this. It's throwing the accent off because they put the chord in on an off beat. It throws the accent off. So it's. The nice part about this piece, you don't necessarily notice it when you're first learning it and practicing it really slowly. You don't notice that, but once you speed it up, then you start to feel the, oh, I see what they're doing. Last line is similar to what we had at the beginning. So third finger on the 8th note G. And then they want you to go here. Here, if you put your thumb on the A, then you can cross over 2, 3, 5. Don't use the thumb on the chord. If you use thumb here, don't use thumb on the chord. So it's a possibility of the fingering. So for the last two measures there at the bottom of page 149, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. Otherwise, you're going to go here. And that's fine too if that's what you prefer, but I think I'd like to see you explore this. Crossing under the thumb that far, we have to do it sometimes. It's a little uncomfortable, but don't rule it out. Left hand is pretty straightforward. Just keep the left hand soft. The first line is 1 and 2 and 3 and then the second line, when the verse starts, you're up here, down here. I said 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now Now here, you notice after this C, you gotta go down to a G. So let's think about that. I'd like to prepare this a little bit. Now you can, if you have to, jump down, but we don't have to here. And if we don't have to, I'd prefer not to. So on that C, you either use the third finger so you can reach it, or second finger so you can reach it. The problem is you have a C here. So me, I can reach down and get, it's not that far. The pedal will help. Then I'm closer to where I want to be. So either a 3 or a 2 on the C, you decide which you want. Either way, you're going to have to move down a little bit, but using these fingers is better than using little finger on it, in my opinion. And then you have a G, and then for the next line, fourth finger on the A. And then the last measure, third line, second finger, just like they're saying. And then last line, second measure, fourth finger on the B flat. Then fourth finger. Their fingering works well. Page 148, third line down, you're here. And then I like their fingering, the second finger on the eighth note B flat. And that G is a whole note, hold it down. And then lift up and move. It's a chorus, it's like a new section, so it's the fourth line down, last measure. I'm not sure what they're after here. You're here, and then here, and they're saying 3, 2, 1, and then 3. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand it though, because you're here. Why not just stay there? The 4, 3, 2. And then if you wanted to use the third finger on it, that's fine, although you're still fine if you just stay in that position until the top of page 149. Then you need the fourth finger on the G, because you got a C coming up. You want to be in this position. They do the same thing in the second line on page 149. I don't understand why you need a 3 on the, when I can just as easily use a 4. So you decide what you like. Put the hands together slowly. At the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and. If it'll help you, think about it in the left hand. It's the last measure of the first line. Then, if you want, if your hand's big enough, you can use second finger on that C, the last note, because then you're in position to go on. Otherwise, thumb is fine. The pedal will connect it for you. It's just an option I'm giving you, something to think about. Here, second line, second measure. Got some uncomfortable hand moves here. This isn't piano music, it's a vocal solo. But again, we do the best we can, and we have the pedal to help us out. Top of page 148. Bring out the melody. For the chorus, remember to move the left hand down, because you're here, you gotta come down here. So that's a little weird between the hands in that rhythm. 1 and 2 and. have to work out that rhythm very carefully. And that thing goes on until you get down toward the bottom of page 149. Hopefully you can do those okay. So then we add the dynamics and the pedaling and all that. You do the dynamics, and doing. But the pedaling is going to be legato pedaling, but we don't want to smear it up too much. Only pedal when I need to, but I want to kind of, lots of overtones and going on here. I'm changing it with EC. So basically I'm changing it almost every 2 beats. I'm just following the right hand. You push it down after you play the note, and then change it after you play the notes. There. Again, first line. Change it. Lift up. Then the verse starts. My tendency is to pedal the first 3 beats and then change on the 4th. But you can experiment with the sound. If you don't mind the blurriness, you can hold the pedal down for the whole measure. And then starting with the 3rd line, I'm basically changing it every 2 beats. And the 2nd measure, the 3rd line, I'm not pedaling the 8th notes. I don't need the pedal there. Again, I don't need the. I'm not pedaling. Then here, the last 2 measures on 147, I'm pedaling every 2 beats. So, top of page 148's more of what we had. I'm pedaling the first 3 beats and changing on the 4th. The last measure, it's every 2 beats. Don't pedal the 8th notes. Every 2 beats here. Actually, you can hold it down for the whole measure if you want. And then every 2 beats here, and then we get to the chorus. Now, for the first measure of the chorus, the first 2 beats are pedaled, and then I'm pedaling separately on the last 2 beats. So it's here. Every 2 beats again. The 4th line down, last measure, don't pedal the last beat because it's the 2 8th notes by themselves. We want that clean. So the 4th line down is here. Again, the top of page 149, first measure, don't pedal the last beat. That's by itself. A lot of this is every 2 beats. The last line you're here. Every 2 beats. The last measure, hold it down to the end. Experiment with the pedaling. It's just how intricate do you want to get it. Don't pedal if you don't have to, but it's nice to have the overtones and the connections and the legato and all that. I like to go through this very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to do page 147 and stop and turn the page, and I'm going to do the other pages. I'm not taking any repeats, just going to play it straight through one time. So I'll give 4 counts. If you want to play along, by all means play along. 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Turn the page. 1, 2, ready and go and.